Lakes town he came from. We know his father must have a position that's fairly high up, because otherwise, why wouldn't he live in the Presidio, where most people in the Army live? We spend little time thinking about Army hierarchy because their haircuts are so sad. We know where the boy with one arm lives, though we don't know how he lost it. He often plays tennis at the park on 25th Avenue, or badminton in the alleyway behind his house, which is the alleyway that leads to my house. Many of the blocks in Seacliff have alleyways so the cars can park in the garages in the back, so the cars don't interfere with the view of the ocean, of the Golden Gate Bridge. Everything in Seacliff is about the view of the bridge. It was one of the first neighborhoods in San Francisco to have underground power lines because above-ground power lines would obstruct the view. Everything ugly is hidden. We know the high school boy who lives next door to me. He comes from a family that was prominent in the gold rush. I learned that from my California history textbooks. Photos of his parents frequently appear in the society pages of the Nob Hill Gazette that's delivered to our doorstep every month, free of charge. The boy is blonde and often has a group of his high school friends over to watch football in his living room. From my garden, I can see when they're watching a game. There's a 3-foot gap between the edge of our property and his house, and sometimes I leap through his window and land on the floor of his living room. I am that daring. I am a daring enigma. I fantasize that one of them will invite me to the prom. And then one afternoon, one of the boys grabs the waistband of my Guess jeans. I try to get away, and I run in place for a moment like a cartoon character. The boys all laugh. I'm upset for days. I know that this gesture and their laughter mean they think of me as a little girl and not as a prospective prom date. After that, their window is kept closed. Then there are the Prospero boys, the sons of a doctor, who lived in my house before my family bought it. They are legendary. They are a cautionary tale. When my parents toured the house, the floor of what would become my bedroom was littered with beer bottles and needles. The windows were broken. When I talk to older boys and tell them I live in the Prospero boys' old house, I get attention and, I imagine, momentary respect. No one can believe what lunatics those boys were. Moms will shake their heads and say how sad it was, those boys, their father being a doctor and all. The Prospero boys are the reason my parents were able to buy the house for the price they did. It was destroyed by these boys. No one else wanted to think their children would grow up to have parties and use needles and spray paint obscenities on the walls of their own home. My father has always been able to look past the damaged lives a house has witnessed. That is his secret power. He grew up in a rented third-floor apartment on an alleyway in the Mission, and like many of his friends, had multiple jobs by the time he was 15. Newspaper delivery boy, grocery store employee, doorman at the Haight Theater. He tore tickets 6 nights a week, and on his day off, he'd go see movies. When he was in middle school, he biked all the way to Seacliff to go to the beach, and he saw the majestic houses and said to his friends, "One day I will live in this neighborhood." One day he did. My mother grew up without money, too. She grew up in a large, happy family on a farm in rural Sweden, and together they are a thrifty pair. No meals out at restaurants, no heat turned on unless there's company, and sometimes no heat even then, just the strong smell of fish. My sister, Svea, who is 10, is the only one in our family who likes fish, but it is served weekly because we are Swedish. In the front room of my house, there are 5 large windows that look out on the Golden Gate Bridge. On foggy days, the bridge is blanketed in white, no trace of it visible. On days like this, my father used to tell me that robbers had stolen the bridge. "Don't worry, Eulabee," he'd say to me. "The police are after them. They've been working all night." By mid-morning, when the fog began to burn off, he'd say, "Look, they got 'em. They're putting the bridge back." It was a story I never tired of, and reinforced 2 lessons that reigned over my childhood. 1, hard work conquers all obstacles. 2, good triumphs over evil, which is always lurking. There are alerts, of course, and warnings.